So today, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to show you this lifestyle block here that we are working on and give you kind of an introduction of what they've got for setup here. So first off is their I think they're called IBC tanks, but these things hold thousands and thousands of gallons of water. So in New Zealand here, during the winter time, it rains a ton. So these people, to live off-grid, they put large amounts of water stored away. There's also a filtration device there, all the way down through here. And that second, or the first one there, catches and holds. And then when it fills up, it goes through the white hole here. And then it goes into here and filters out once it fills all the way up through there. And here is their compost pile. Obviously some wood chips, and that's the actual compost over there. They're currently using these for the trees that we planted all the way over there. They're really small, little younglings. And this is their target range. You can see some targets out there. Stu here has got it all set up so he shoots with a 22. He also likes to go hunting here. That's his little shed that he sits in and he shoots. And here is the first plot. Right now she's the wife here has just some celery from last season and some cabbage. Not quite 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that's cabbage as well. I'm not 100% sure what that is. I did not ask. But the cage around here is just to protect from bunnies. We placed that. This was filled with weeds, and we weeded the whole thing. And if you know me, I hate weed eating, and it's a terrible job for me. Here is their little aquaponics setup. They do have plants in there. Apparently this blooms during the winter time. This was all crafted by Stu. It's quite brilliant. This is actually their water filtration system. All of this used to be like covered in algae, and they said that once he got this set up, basically like in a day almost, it was all clear and it was all clean water. This is actually all clean filtered water. It's quite brilliant, actually. The whole setup is quite brilliant. Here is their second garden spot. So here they've got some spring onion and a few other plants here and there. Most of these are kind of dead. They didn't really survive like she wanted. They're kind of newish to this whole thing. They've only been doing it for like maybe 2-3 years. So it's incredible even for 2 to 3 years that they got all this stuff. So this also used to be covered completely filled with weeds, and we did all of that. It was quite insane. And here are the strawberries. Again, here is a net to protect from insects, predators, and so on. We also weeded that. They never really mentioned what this one is, but again, net for the insects. You don't really see these commonly around for some reason. Insects really aren't that big of a problem here, more because they find natural means to get rid of them. So they don't really have the insects nets quite often. That's a lemon tree, as you can see right there. So if you didn't know, if you never planted a tree before, so the mulch down here, what they do is they plant the tree, they'll put the mulch, and then they put another like fabric layer. This helps to keep the tree, the moisture into the ground, and helps the tree grow. Oftentimes people will use a stick to keep it straight up because sometimes they can't support themselves to a certain age. Yeah. Rosemary smells wonderful. Pretty sure that's what that is. I'm not exactly a herbologist, so there's that. Here was the first lot that we did. This used to be completely covered in weeds. I mean, there's still some weeds alongside the ridge. when I asked them about this little spot, they weren't really quite fans of it, just because it's on the hillside and they really wanted to flatten it out and they didn't. And that probably would have been a smarter idea, was to flatten it out as such. Another tub with plants. So this little hose here is actually dripping water, or providing water for the soil. They've got it hooked up to a water catchment system. Basically all the water they use is rainwater. They don't use anything else from the public. Another little tub of plants. And again, another little deal of the insect nest. Now this little patch area here, the sheep will come all the way through here. There's a trail right there. If you don't really know anything about sheep, they tend to be very curious, but they will follow the same path over and over again. They always come through here, or they come through here, but they're eating right now, so they're not going to see any of them. And then this beautiful area here is where the goat and the ram live, but they're off on the other side. They have got quite a bit of property. That's a horse arena over there. They are holding horses there. You can, yeah, there they are. And then here is the second patch as well. We did all of this the other day. Completed it. Again, celery that needs to be harvested, and some other stuff that's kind of just dead and there's no point being in there. And then there's another patch that I'm currently working on after I'm done with this. And then this tarp right here is specifically just for keeping the weeds away. And now I'm going to show you the greenhouse. So this right here is, this cover is keeping the water warm, but there's rainwater inside the container. So this is their greenhouse. Not really too much going on in here. If I can get that door. Not too much going on in here. It's really about that time. She's gonna start planting more. But we just planted yams, which are right down there. And the really neat thing is this, again, this little system here that's like feeding them minerals. It's quite, they came up with it themselves. It's quite clever. And yeah, just the little plants growing in here. So if you're planting a tree, you want to put it in a greenhouse first and let it grow. Oh, these are pineapples, by the way. We want to let it grow in the greenhouse first, and then after it gets to a certain height, it needs to move out of the plastic pot and it needs to go into the ground. And you know this because the roots will start poking out at the bottom of the plastic. Let's get that shut. Always make sure that your greenhouse is shut. I lock this with a bent nail. Awesome. And here's the tool shed. It's a bit old. You said the previous property owner had it. So here is, we organized it. This is the chemical table. There's a table with some tools, gloves, lawnmower. You used to not even be able to see the table. It used to be a terrible mess. And then you couldn't even walk in the middle here before we came in here and organized stuff. And then here's like the soil and yeah, pretty much anything and everything you really need out in the garden is out in this little tool shed. All organized and neat by yours truly. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is this portion, the garden portion of the lifestyle block. This is growing quite common around here. Like, I mean, I don't remember how it is back home. But here it's growing more common and common for them to be more reliant on themselves and less reliant on grocery stores. I mean, that's really the way to be. Grocery store bills are getting massive and massive. Oh yeah, here's the little rain catcher system. Yeah, and this has a little spout. So this is just a little extra water that they could use. Also, that big, huge storage tank is completely attached to their house. They are completely off the water plumbing system, the public water plumbing system. It's quite fantastic because there's so much filtration going on. It goes all the way from here to here, actually, and it filters out. And then this goes all the way to the house, from my understanding. But there's about 3 filtrations. Both of these have some sort of filter. And then this one is also a filter, but like more of a natural filter. It's really something. They managed to build that by themselves. Oh, and one more thing before I exit this video. And something that I find really cool that I've gotten to see for the first time is beehives. Awesome. And that is today's video, everybody. I hope you guys really enjoyed learning about this lifestyle block and some of the stuff going on here. I know I enjoy it very much. I'm gonna shoot some more videos of some other farms, and hopefully I'll get some interviews. And I'll see you all next time.